It
All
is
right.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Yeah. 5 o'clock.
You know how confused I get.
6 o'clock on the eastern side. I know. Time zones. 4 o'clock with Beth. Yeah. So there's time zones everywhere. All I can say is 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I'll trust that everybody does the right math to figure out what time zone they're in.
Man, I look a mess. Terrible.
If you say so, I think you look great.
I think you look great too.
Aw.
I think you look great.
Don't stop. Don't stop. No, don't stop.
Don't stop. Don't stop. All right. So I just got done kind of talking about the content we've been putting out, or at least I've been creating to help bring some perspective to the topics of discussion that we bring every single week here in the Promise Keeper community. And it's brought some great introspection to me. You know, I get a chance to look at it, look at the information, ask different questions, ask deeper questions, ask more thought-provoking questions for myself as to how I can help deliver more information and get you to start experiencing in your own life the transformation that's really required. And so then I asked myself this question. I'm going to start the conversation with this. This is not how I wanted to start it, but I just thought about this probably 2 minutes ago. Was, why are we all here? Why are we in this play? Why are we together? Why do we show up every single week, 2 times per week? We show up in a very interactive, engaging group. What are we doing all this for? That's probably even a better question. What are we doing all this for?
And we are in community sharing a common purpose.
Okay, but let's go deeper on that. Let's lean in a little bit deeper. Like, all right, let me be direct. Let's go. What are you doing this all for?
Yeah, well, I can share for me. I'm here to learn. I've seen some success from some of the members online. I really admire all that hard work and dedication. And I'm here to learn new habits. I'm here to learn how to speak better with myself and to myself. And I'm here for the community and most importantly for the support.
Awesome. Now, let me say this, because Joanna, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, I'm here because of the community. Like, I'm here because I want to support, embrace, encourage what you truly want out of your life. And you don't have to have a healthy, successful, energetic, dynamic past to have a healthy, dynamic, energetic future. Mm-hmm. I'm just honored. I can say this, like, I'm so proud to say that I'm honored to contribute in this stage of your life, wherever you're at. Because you might be 60 years young, 50 years young, 40 years young, and we've met this crossroad. And here we are, learning things that we never had a chance to learn or identify over 40, 50, 60 years of existence on this planet. And I'm grateful. So most people think, and here's why it's important, Joanna, why you said that, is because most people think that the skills are most important. Like, I got to obtain all the skills. I have to go, I'm saying, I'm blanket statement. It's a blanket statement, of course. I have to go learn how to do this, and this to be successful, to find the parts, to do what I have to do. And then some people will say, well, you know what? It's not the skills that you're acquiring. It's the mindset that you have to have in order to resource those skills. So now we're talking about the mindset game. What we've done and what we've proven and what I've been speaking about for much time, not as of late, but it's the environment game. It's the environment that we surround ourselves with that ties together the mindset. I mean, you're talking about being in an environment, in a group, in a community, in an ecosystem of several dozen people. It's going to be bigger in the future, I promise, if you're still with us. And they're all supportive with the same mindset, or at least very similar. And they all have different skills. So it's not the skills and it's not the mindset. Those are really important, but it is the environment. And it's the application, of course, of how we put it all together. And it's
So all of the above.
it's all the above, but people really do truly forget. Like if I acquire the skills, hey, if I read the books, listen to the podcasts, I go take the seminars, I'm going to have what it takes. Well, how many of us have discovered that even the mindset is challenging on a day-to-day basis, right? It's challenging. You have to be engaged in your mindset every single stinking day, several times per day. It's not just waking up and talking about positive affirmations and going to bed and saying, thank you, God, I'm grateful for this, this, and this. It's you have to constantly start rewiring and reframing how your mindset is going to be. We get out of life what we think about. We get out of life what we're grateful for. We get out of life what is we put our attention to. So, and then I know this happens because it happens for me. Come Wednesday and Thursday, 2 or 3 days after our Monday conversation, I'm thinking, I'm looking forward to the Friday conversation to get back together with my environment, to get back with the Promise Keepers. And then Sunday, I'm thinking, I'm looking forward to Monday night so I can get back with the Promise Keeper, like the environment, because the people in our environment, it's no fault to them in our regular standard everyday environment. They're not always so supportive. They always don't get and understand what we're doing this for. But that's okay. This journey is not for them. It's for us. It's for you. 80% of people from my last research and recollection live a life of quiet desperation. They feel like they should be and could be doing so much better than they currently are. They don't know how. They don't have the environment. They don't have the support. And where, again, I'm grateful and honored and humbled is that I've discovered these pieces. I'm proud to share those with you. The tactics, some of the skills, the mindset, the identity, the personal integrity, like the things that we already have inside of us that we didn't realize, honestly, that we had until we start uncovering it or talking about it or being vulnerable with it. So that's where my mind went literally minutes before this conversation is what are we all doing this for? And I know that as I'm looking over the screen here and I'm thinking of those that aren't on the call in the conversation right now, we're all doing it for a different reason, but you're also discovering some of your own superpowers that you never, not that you didn't believe you had, you didn't believe that you were worthy of showcasing those. So that's not where I wanted to start the conversation, but that's just what, hey, I can't predict everything. That's for sure.
Well, I'm, having been around for the last almost, gosh, I guess it's kind of 11 months now. It's been April 24th was our very first conversation. And I was telling you this before people jumped on is it doesn't matter that I hear the same thing 4 times. What matters is I'm a different person each time I hear those same things. And so it elevates me to that next level. Because I'm experiencing things in my life that I would never have dreamed I would be where I'm at right now, because I didn't have that in my, like this person that you're looking at wasn't in this mind. I didn't know she existed, to be honest, until we start to uncover certain things. And then the personal integrity, it's elevating to different levels with each time I go through this. And I'm extremely grateful, Steve. And I just believe that, in the opening pages of that book, Jackie, that I shared on the live video, it talked about we're here for a purpose right now. We are the right people at the right place at the right time to hear the message. We are drawn to this message. And, you know, I can go back and look at how I met Steve in a real estate group. What the heck was he doing over in a real estate group? But I believe it was for me. I believe that he was there. I saw him, and the way things happened, it was like, I don't know about y'all, but he is there for me. and now living that, you know, finding this community, and I've shared this before, I've been a member of a lot of different communities, you know, online communities and real estate groups. And there's really nothing like the Promise Keeper community for helping the whole person grow. It doesn't matter where you start, who you are, where you're at in your journey in life, what chapter you're on. Like Steve's been given a gift. Would you not all agree that Steve has been given a gift, and he has a divine purpose to help all of us, or everybody who is drawn into this opportunity, this community, to become who they're, you know, the best versions of themselves, the healthiest, best version of ourselves. And so, Steve, thank you for delivering your gift, because it changes all of us.
It is my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And you know what? Honestly, I'm just being me. I'm just being who I am. And here's what's interesting, because as I'm listening to you, Gail, things go in perspective for me. And I'm thinking to myself, again, when people think of Steve Trzak, they think of, hey, I want to go change my health. I want to start improving my energy, my longevity. I want to start dropping body fat. I want to start improving my eating habits. All these things. Let's be honest. How much time have we spent on that? On talking about, I mean, short of Wednesday we had an hour conversation about nutrition, but short of that, like in our conversations together, in our time together, how much do we really talk about, here's what you need to do for your workout, here's what you need to do for proper eating, here's what you need to do to enhance your energy? This is all coming from you. You're doing this because you've chosen to become somebody different. And when you become somebody different, you start doing different things based on the alignment of who you've become. And when you start doing the things that you know you should be doing, but you weren't doing because you weren't being the person that you should have been, I know it's a tongue twister here, then you start having the things that you've wanted. It goes back to the be, do, have model versus what we've all done. Don't deny it, because I'm with you on this, of have, do, be. When I have the money, I'll start doing this. When I have the energy, I'll start doing this. When I have the space to do those you call it workouts that are so amazing I keep hearing about, then I'll start doing those you call it sessions. And by the way, Jackie, 6:30 tonight, bam! Gosh, am I proud of you, Jackie. Like, you are, talk about transformation. Transformation is a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. You're changing form and appearance by being thorough with who you are. Love it. Like, I get goosebumps. I told you, we're coming in hot today. I couldn't tell you why, but we are.
Well, and let's talk about Jackie for a second, because Jackie, not only does Jackie show up, but she brings a whole troop with her. And, you know, when was that, Jackie? Was that just last night? Night, there was, you know, a dozen people on you call it on a Thursday night, and Jackie's energy, and you can just tell Jackie that your friends who come, they're showing up for themselves, but they're showing up for you too, because you're showing up for yourself. And you're a tremendous inspiration. And I'm just like, it was such a pleasure to be on that time last night with y'all.
I'm so grateful that you were able to be there, and I'm grateful that when I extend the invitation to friends and the people in my life, that they're saying yes, because I'm really working to lay a foundation that's going to sustain this, so that every day one of the people I love is going to be asking me to move, to work out, where nobody would have asked me that before. And that's because I just wasn't moving. And so I'm really laying a foundation of people in my life to know that I want to do this with you. Spend the time with me. Let's take 30 minutes and do it together. And it's been overwhelming that every time I've put that invitation out, I'm getting 5 or 6 people saying, yep, I'm there, I'm hopping on, each and every time. And last night was kind of a test. I thought, what if I'm not leading it? Will they still show up if I'm not the one saying, I'm going to lead? And so I said, hey, my friend Gail's doing it, hop on. And they still came. And that's how I know that the foundation's gonna work for me, that people in my life are gonna want to be inviting me to move, just like I'm going to be wanting to invite them to move. And it's a change, and it's something that I'm really being intentional about and very purposeful about how I go about doing that. And I think it's shocking people to see those invites and those posts from me, but I also want them to see that, like, this is legit. This means something to me, and people in my life know if something means something to me, I'm going at it full force. I don't want to just be the Jackie that brings people closer to Christ. They know that side of me. I want them to know this side of me too.
I just got my internal MC Hammer going with too legit to quit that Beth just posted. All right, so real quick, Jackie, you said something I want to address. I want to unbox that just for a second, because you said probably about 2 minutes ago that you weren't moving, like it wasn't that wasn't part of your lifestyle. Why wasn't that part of your lifestyle?
Oh,
I'm not putting you on the spot here, because let me tell you, I don't need an answer from you. Here's the reason why. Is because that wasn't your identity. That wasn't who you were. You weren't one that said, I am a human being that will create intentional movement for my body. That's what it is. Like, that is a great example and demonstrates what our identity shift is. And here's the best part, Jackie. You don't have to say anything. You don't say anything about posting in there like, I am now one that's committed to moving. People just know now. They know based on your actions.
So my granddaughter came today, and my daughter surprised me. I went to meet him, and there's Andrea walking with McKenna. Had no idea Andrea was coming. And you know what they said to me? We brought our workout clothes because we know we're going to work out with you. And I was fully okay with like not doing it, because this is their vacation, and well, McKenna's vacation, now Andrea's, but that was their decision, because they know that that's my identity, that I do that.
And I have to say this because it's so important. You look at Gail Zintek. You meet Gail Zintek for the first time. One of the first questions that's going to come out of your mouth is, whoa, how long you been working out? Right? The truth is, if you had that conversation or saw or met Gail for the first time a year ago, that may have not been one of the first questions. Gail has demonstrated the power of consistency, the power of being responsible, and the commitment, as we all have. Gail, as I'm looking here, and again, Joanna's been you're an exercise enthusiast. You've been doing this a long time. But Gail's been doing it longer than we have, I assure you. that when you're putting in the commitment, the consistency, and being responsible through the process in 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year, people are going to start saying the same thing to you. Not that you're looking for that validation, not that you're looking for that approval, but it's pretty damn nice when people are asking you questions like, how long have you been exercising? How long have you been working out? I get it all the time. So you don't have to be at a certain place in your life to obtain the future achievements, to get those results, to feel great, to feel better. You just have to make a decision and say, this is who I am now. This is my identity from a non-negotiable standpoint. And once you make that decision, game over. The rest is history.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome to be associated, or people identify me with as someone who is fit. And, you know, anytime there's a park volleyball game, whatever, frisbee, hey, Beth, you want to come? Like, that's my dream, to have that identity that I did have at one time, you know.
But
I love it.
But you still are. Like, you're living in that moment now saying you are an athlete. Listen, I am an athlete. This is who I am. I play frisbee, I play tennis, I play golf. I do that. You don't wait till you lose X amount of weight, or you have the right amount of energy, or that date comes in the future to say, I'm going to start doing it when. That's not how it works. Our identity is created in the moment now. We become who we are. I'm not a millionaire, but I know one day I will be. So I tell myself, I'm a millionaire. All the checks haven't cleared the bank yet. I'm a fit, vibrant, energetic, enthusiastic, 55-year young person. If you're 55 and that, or maybe 53, 54 and whatever, and you just speak it. But you can't do it once. You can't do it twice. You can't do it 3 times. It has to be repetitive. And it has to be very specific. I'm telling you. I know we've talked, it's got to be so specific, because our brains cannot work at obtaining something that's generalized. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to lose weight. No, be specific. Speak what you want, who you are in the future. And your brain will go to work into achieving that for you.
I'm sensing another vision board coming soon now with specific words.
Very specific.
Yeah.
So when we did the pyramid, and we wrote, you know, the environment, behavior, skills, capabilities, beliefs, and identity. I wrote words, that characteristics for each one in those boxes. And on the back, I just really did simple affirmation statements just with the words. And when I take time to flip it over and read it, they're really powerful. And they're, you know, I am responsible. See, responsible. I don't even know. It's in one of these categories, but I'm responsible, I'm committed, I'm consistent. Oh, this is our formula. I'm kind, love, obedient, active, fun, authentic. I'm the flower, confident, a servant, a speaker, an author, a coach, a promise keeper. I am weightless. I am calm, peaceful, helpful, joy, freedom, wealth and abundance, happy, successful, strong, family, accomplished, positive, accountable, skillful, knowledgeable, competent, healthy, grateful, on purpose, inspire possibilities. So, you know, and it all came from words that fit in with skills and behaviors and beliefs. So if you try doing this and writing out your characteristics for who you are in those areas, and then the affirmations just kind of develop from that.
Was that a prior lesson?
Yeah, that was the logical level. Beth.
February 1st, if you want to go
Okay,
back
it was
into.
right before me. Okay, got it.
That might have been a day or two before.
Yeah.
You know what, Beth? I'll tag you in that one as well.
Thank you.
You know, Beth, I've always been athletic and fit and worked out almost, I guess, my whole life, really. But I've never identified as thin. So when you said, you know, I'd love for people to identify me as thin, I've never felt that way, ever.
Sorry, maybe you misheard. I said fit.
Oh, fit.
Not
Oh,
thin.
I thought you
You're
said
thin.
thin.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know, I think that's great that you want to do that. I think that's great. As long as you do identify yourself as fit, you can be fit.
But here's the key on that. Define what fit means to you. You have to define what that means. It's too general, it's too generic, and it's too broad, too subjective.
So even get super specific on that adjective that we're describing ourselves as.
Yeah, break it down. I mean, break it down to the point of, and again, I don't like using body weight as a gauge or a scale, but sometimes that helps inspire or motivate us to get to where that's at. Think about the pant size you're wearing. Think about, you know, what your waist looks like. Think about what your body looks like, your physique. You know, think about those things that, like, are just so, like, you can almost peel it out of an old picture that you had from 10, 20 years back. That's your frame, that's your potential, that's what you can be.
Endurance.
Yeah. Endurance conditioning. So when you talk about endurance, like, if it's an athletic endeavor, it's something that you're doing. Maybe it's running or jogging or tennis, and you can do a mile in 5 minutes, 5.5, 6 minutes, whatever it is. You start gauging, like, what does that mean to you? Define that. And again, it's going to be different for everybody. How I define fit's going to be different than what Beth think is fit.
And sometimes you don't, like, I have been doing affirmations a long time, and I have the cards from 2008. And the very first one at the top says, I am strong, toned, and 140 pounds. And that was 12 years ago. I didn't hit 140 pounds until 2020. So, and I didn't even really know what that 140 pound person looked like. It was just a number that made sense. And I told Steve at the sprint, I said, my goal is 144 pounds. And I got stuck at about 146, 147. And, sometimes someone else's belief helps you, because he says, I see a 1-3 on the scale. And like the moment he said that, I'm like, yeah, no, I've never had that in my mind. I don't even know what that looks like. And he said, here's what he said: stay with the process, keep with the process, because I was working out, I was eating healthy, and the weight, I was just at that plateau. And it wasn't probably 3 weeks later, right, Steve?
Yep.
It's like I hit 144 and 143 and 140 and 100. And like the day I hit 139, I'm like, this is a miracle, because I didn't know what that looks like. And so sometimes that's the environment, right? The environment. Steve's worked, I had to trust him. He's worked transformation for 20 some years, and he's seen a lot of bodies. So, but that faith and that belief gave me the belief in myself to trust the process and to keep, just to stay with it. So if anybody wants, that's why I think being accountability buddies, that's why being in this group and having one another, share your goals with us. And I'll be your biggest cheerleader. Get there.
Can I give everyone here some guidance in creating specificity to what they want?
Please.
Okay, so everybody, if you can grab a clean piece of paper. I want clean. I don't want anything written on it. Just grab a clean piece of paper, and this is what I want to write on it. I want you to think about whatever it is that you want right now. It doesn't have to be necessarily in this group or in this community, but whatever you want, I want you to write this down. Who would I be how would I feel? I'll say it again, so I'm going to probably pretty quick. Who would I be? How would I feel? And what would I do if I already had blank? Blank is whatever you want in your life right now. I'll say it again. Who would you be coming from an identity standpoint? How would I feel? And what would I do if I already had blank? Now that's going to start giving you some great brainstorming.
That's pretty powerful, especially that last one.
What would I do?
No, like, yeah, what would I do if I already had X?
Yeah. So again, because we are in a health environment here. Let's say it was if I already weighed 140 pounds. Think about that. If I weighed 140 pounds today, who would I have to be? I'd have to be committed. I'd have to be purposeful.
Yeah.
I'd have to be resilient. I'd have to be excuse-free. I'd have to be consistent. I'd have to be a promise keeper. All the things, whatever words mean, like who you need to be. How would you feel? I'd feel confident. I'd feel empowered. I'd feel unstoppable. I'd feel happy. Whatever those words, whatever feelings that are brought to you, whatever you think about, how would it be to feel that way, knowing that that's where you're going based on who you're becoming? And what are you doing to get there? I'm staying committed to my 30 minutes I told myself I was going to do. I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm saying no more often. I'm finding healthier people to hang out with. If you want to be a fit person, go find fit people to spend time with.
So my granddaughter came, and she's in college, and a lot of her friends are athletes. You know, McKenna's in her own right. She got mad at the pickleball court because she wasn't picking it up as fast as she wanted to. She goes, "Oh, I hate losing. I want to be good at this." But she said, I'm working out more, Grandma. And she's working out because she has fit friends. Her friends are hockey players. Her friends are soccer players. And so she wants to be that herself because that's her environment. That's who she wants to hang out with. So right now, she's having a little nap.
I mean, she's sleeping on the couch and she's not inspired by what we're talking about. I'm kidding.
That's so great.
It's all coming in subliminally.
Yeah, true, right? It's osmosis. Osmosis.
Are today's youth generally fit? I don't know.
I'm going to say, from what I know, what I see, I'm going to say not compared to what our generation was. I guess maybe it's different generations, but I know certainly not from my generation.
I mean, we played outside, all the time.
Kids do not play outside around here. And let me tell you this, I live in a neighborhood and I'm looking outside now, and I'm not exaggerating. Every single house on this block, on the next block, has at least 2 children that are around, either younger or a little bit older than my daughter and my son. And you just don't see a lot of kids out.
We weren't allowed to go in until the streetlights went on.
Oh, I talk about that all the time with my kids. I'd have to be drug inside. I'd have to get like a lashing. I'm like, just beat me if you want. Like, just I'm staying outside. I'm playing Ghost in the Graveyard. I'm playing flashlight tag. I'm playing running bases. I'm playing all the things. It's just technology has created a different atmosphere and culture in our society.
We could come in if we were bleeding, and then it was slap the bandage on and out you go.
And don't get me wrong, I was not beat as a child. I'm just saying, if you had to beat me, go beat me. So it's an interesting dynamic.
I don't know. We came from a different generation. None the worse for it.
I hear you. All right, so let's talk about some of the things I really want to address and discuss today. I really want to see who here has not done their due diligence on checking in and have done their objective measurements and updates for their body weight, their measurements, and or their progress picture. Just raise your hand. I got Joanna, David, Beth, Julie, Nancy.
I've just not done my picture.
All right, just take your picture.
I know. I just need to grab my husband and say, "Could you just take this pic?"
Just take the picture. You're not going to regret it.
Yeah.
But
I need to do my measurements still. I lost my tape, but I just found it.
okay.
I've done everything but the picture.
Okay. So,
Same.
Jackie, did you do yours? You didn't raise your hand. So Jackie, would you be kind enough to share what you've discovered in this process?
As far as the doing the measurements and
Yeah.
well,
so you went through the process just like I've done, and I've done that for many years. Just as you've seen Gail do, Nate did it. Margaret, I saw Margaret's picture. So yeah, Margaret, I saw you took your picture. Like, how did you feel? Like, where did your mind go during this process?
well, I can very much relate to the picture delay from the ladies in the group because that was the one I resisted the most doing. The other ones, I had hopped on the scale right away. I had done the measurements shortly after we talked about it, but the picture took a long time. And that in and of itself, the fact that I resisted doing that so much was the lesson. And it was exactly why I needed to take them. I also learned that I was becoming a little too obsessive with the scale because I had seen it go down significantly in the first sprint. And so when I started the second sprint, I was like, well, I'm just going to hop on that scale every 3 days and it's just going to keep going down and it's going to be fabulous. And the first time it didn't, I had to regroup in the mind. I had to remind myself that this was not a race. This was purposeful, intentional, and I kept myself off the scale for a bit till I knew that I was in a better place to get back on it and be reasonable about the expectation toward it. But I certainly understand the hesitation on the pictures. That was the most difficult one. But I processed that to remind myself that that was what initially brought me here. It's interesting when you said, what was that and what it turned out to be? Because the first 30 days of my first sprint, I'm like, when are they going to tell me what I shouldn't eat? When are they going to tell me how much protein? When are they going to tell me what drink? Come on, I'm happy. I don't need life. I don't need this life advice. I don't need any of what you're talking about. I'm really, really happy. And then I learned after about 30 some days that I was happy in every aspect of my life, genuinely, in all of the parts of my life that I was present. And the one part of my life I was not present was my health. And I didn't pay attention to it because I didn't want it to make me unhappy. And so I could keep being happy because I just didn't think about it. Now I'm happy. I'm incredibly overweight. I'm still happy, but there's a difference. Now I'm focused on being happy with that part. I want my brain, Beth, when you said that idea of you want to be viewed as something, you were an athlete. I was an athlete too. I am incredibly competitive. But what's happening, my brain has not matched my body for a very long time. I'm competitive and I'll sit on the sidelines being competitive when I want to be out there being competitive. And so it hasn't matched up. Well, it's going to match up.
Wow.
Every day it's going to match up.
That's so great. I really loved when Jackie was talking about the resistance. I always feel like, thank you for bringing that up. It just like, it made something click in me, like the when I am resisting something, that's what I got to work on and question the resistance, the why of the resistance. Because I'm the same way, Jackie. I'm like, honestly, you guys, I'm like, I am not taking those photos. I'm like, I am not getting my fat ass in this little bra and panty thing and saying, I'm just like, are you kidding? I don't want to see that. But when Margaret posted hers, I'm like, damn, look at her. She looks awesome. I understand why, but the resistance for me is probably facing the reality. I've covered my body the last year. I don't want to look at it, you know? So thank you for bringing up resistance. There's just a lot of power in looking into that resistance.
Joanna, did you want to say something about that? You had your hand raised.
Oh yeah, I'm with you, Beth.
Okay.
I'm so with you.
Okay.
On the picture.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's.
Can I jump
What's
in for a
left,
sec?
Sharon? Are you kidding?
First
And I
off,
just-
my takeaway, my aha on that was when Jackie said she didn't have the alignment of her brain to her body. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
We live.
Oh, I'm fully aligned. That's why I don't want to take the picture.
All right, so here's let's talk about resistance for a quick moment. Resistance is part of the I'm not saying it's part of the process. It's expected. I experience it all the time with clients. I experience it all the time with those that I'm trying to get out of their comfort zone because they want to be comfortable. We have to let go. We have to let go to let in. It goes back to the analogy of us taking this journey together. But below us taking the journey together, you're taking the journey for yourself.
Nothing about me taking a photo is going to make me comfortable. Nothing.
Can I jump in real quick?
Please do.
First of all, thank you, Beth, for saying that. It's nice to know I motivated someone. But a little bit glossed over is the fact that taking the picture is freaking easy, man. Sharing it with someone. I got pictures with the shirt up, with the bra on, that maybe a year from now, or I don't know when that time will be, that I will share with you guys. Today was like a no-brainer. Like, do I share the full body? I could really see a difference today with the Instagram. The answer was immediately no. With you guys, it's like I shared it before I even knew what I was doing, whereas I did not share a full body picture when we started. It's been this. I have the full, I crop it. Today was like, I'm comfortable sharing this with all of you guys. So taking it's the easy part for me, because I don't show you half of what I freaking took. Sharing it and actually showing. What was great was that it was so comfortable and I said that in the group. You guys are it. I'm totally comfortable showing this to you. Nobody else. And that's like a pretty modest picture compared to some that I've taken that someday maybe I'll share.
More power to you, girl.
Well, I want to put clarity to this. These pictures, since we're talking about the pictures, forget about the measurements and the body weight and all that stuff. I mean, that's all important. The pictures are solely for you. So if you watch the content from last Monday and you listen to our conversation from Monday, you're not obligated to share these with anybody. These are only for you.
Cool.
So
yeah, but Steve, I get it. But here's the thing. Now I'm more aware of how unfit I am. Right? So it's this weird thing that you play in your mind.
No. Let's not tell ourselves that story. That's a story you're telling yourself to try to validate the reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling.
Can you say that one more time?
I said you're just telling yourself a story to validate the reason why you're not going to be taking the pictures. Okay. So it's a story you've told yourself. You've known, like we've all come here knowing that we're not fit people. Like we're just unfit based on what, not only what the standard is, but who we know we can be. When you don't serve yourself with movement and activity and nutrition and proper rest and hydration and positive thoughts, then we become unfit. We're a byproduct of what our habits have been. Show me your habits, I'll predict your future. Show me your environment, I'll predict your future. So for you to say, and again, Beth, I'm saying this in the most loving way possible, but for you to say, I didn't take the pictures because it just reminds me of, or just it accentuates how unfit I am, I don't buy it.
No, I think for me, it's now I have to take responsibility for it.
That's a different story.
Now I have to be conscious.
That's a different story.
Be responsible.
It has nothing to do with bringing awareness to anything. What it has to do, it has to tell a bigger story of where you've been and where you are.
Yeah.
Because
I'll totally take the picture, but I don't have to show anybody. And the measurements. I've already taken the measurements. I just had my physical.
This is only for you. I'm guiding you in creating a schedule, creating a platform for you to say, hey, just a reminder, my video last Monday was, hey, just a reminder, go take your picture, go take your body weight, go take your measurements and put them in your private file.
Mm-hmm.
Go put them in your file because I assure you, when, not if, but when you stay consistent, when you stay committed, and when you continue being responsible, you're gonna wish you had the picture that you're supposed to take this week.
Yeah.
Probably.
That.
Yeah.
You're gonna wish you had that picture because too often we are so focused on how far we have to go versus how far we've come.
For sure.
I want that to be a reminder. I want that to be in a resourceable place for you.
Yeah.
That's it. So let go to let in. And let me give you, because again, I think it's sort of important. The mountain analogy. We've come into this endeavor. We've come into this journey together. And we know that we have this mountain to climb. And it's got tremendous terrain to it. It has adversity. It has unpredictability to it. It's this, you see the summit, the pinnacle of the top. Like, that's where I want to go. I don't know what that means yet, but that's where I want to be. I want to be at the top of the mountain. So you start taking this climb to the mountain, but when you're a mountain climber, you have this backpack on. You carry a backpack when you're going into the terrain that's uncharted. And this backpack has all these rocks in it. And these rocks represent all the things that you're bringing with you from the past. These rocks have failure and fear and shame and what 2020 was and 2019, all these things that you're taking with you. Subliminally or subconsciously, we're trying to release those boulders, release those rocks so that the backpack is so much lighter. We're creating freedom for you so that the climb up the steep terrain is a more enjoyable experience. That's why I say let go to let in.
So Beth, I'll tell you what, let's make a deal.
Ooh.
This time we'll take photos of ourselves in something that would be appropriate, revealing enough, but also appropriate enough that when we take our next photos down the road, we will see a big difference, that we would be willing to share them, right?
Oh yeah, no, as soon as we're hanging up, I'm taking a photo. I'm in.
All right.
Yeah.
But revealing enough and yet appropriate enough that we'd be willing to maybe even share them next time.
Sure.
If what Margaret was saying, if I understood what Margaret was saying, Margaret, you took a couple pictures, one with one with what you had on, what you shared, and then maybe something with a little more, something that revealed a little bit more,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can take several variations, but what I'm asking is this: whatever you choose to do, just make sure that you take the same picture or take the pictures with the same outfit on,
Exactly.
like moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Provide. I mean,
Yeah.
I
No,
don't.
those are powerful when you see those. They're super powerful.
I was very impressed. Very
Yeah.
impressed. Yep.
All right. So that's
Say,
make
wow.
a deal. Like Monty Hall, make a deal.
Make a deal.
Let's make a deal.
Awesome. So
Except I want to be Vanna.
you want to be Vanna White? Perfect. Pat Sajak. All right, I'll do it.
He is pretty awesome.
Okay, so let's talk about what you had learned or what you had discovered from Learned Helplessness over this week. And it's not enough just to be on the conversation or in the conversation on Monday, but really adhering to what the content is, like really absorbing the information. Because people will say, well, knowledge is power, knowledge is the victory. No, it's the application of the knowledge that's important. So where have we seen evidence of learned helplessness in the past week? Meaning that maybe somebody's treated us a certain way, or a certain external circumstance happened where usually we would say, why is this happening to me? Life's happening to me right now versus life is happening for me. Let me start.
I don't know if I have one.
Let me start. I'll give you a real simple one because this just happened to me today. So I'm helping my daughter doing some of her math homework. And she has a question. The question is this. I don't know the kid's name. Johnny is making this Kool-Aid punch. And the Kool-Aid punch has 3 cups of Kool-Aid. Each kid gets 1 serving size. 1 serving size is 3/4 of a cup. How many kids are allowed to partake in a serving of Kool-Aid? Now, we know what the answer is, but my daughter had to be explained how to. So I said, I'm going to grab some measuring cups. I know we have measuring cups in the drawer. And so what I did was I opened up the drawer and I couldn't find the 1 cup measuring cup to save my life. I was like, where is this thing? I'm digging through this drawer. There's 2 drawers, one on top, one on the bottom. And then I remind myself, like, oh, that's right. We haven't had this 1 cup measuring cup for probably months. I haven't seen that thing. The kids probably hid it somewhere. It's long gone. So then I found a 1/2 cup measuring cup. And so I was going to use this. I said, hey, Jonna, this is a 1/2 cup. So I'll do my best to explain how this is going to work. And then she goes, no, Dad, that's okay. I said, all right, well, hold on a second. So I threw the measuring cup into the drawer. It skipped into the drawer and fell way behind the back of the drawer. And I'm like, I almost cussed. I'm like, what the, like, that had to happen to me now. Like, I'm in a rush. I'm trying to do this. I can get my daughter here. Da, da, da. So I'm like, all right. So I went back. I went to the bottom drawer and I was pulling it out. I was really struggling to get all the way back in there. I couldn't even see what was happening. I was pulling the drawer out, taking things out. I'm like, this can't be happening. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, it's taking a little bit of time. I open it up. I get all the way back there. I feel the 1/2 cup that fell. But I also then found the full cup measuring cup that was tucked away at the bottom that had fallen months ago, that in the event that didn't happen, I never would have found it. Immediately, I thought to myself, you know what? That happened for me.
That's life.
It didn't look like it at the time. It didn't feel like it at the time. But come to find out, that was happening for a reason. So yeah, I had to check myself for a moment and say, all right, something great came out of this. And that's how simple it can be. Most people that I know or used to know that maybe we all can identify someone as would have taken that one experience, even if they found a $20 bill back there, they would have taken that frustration, that anger, and they would have carried that the rest of the day. But as soon as you start knowing what you know now and realizing that everything in your life is happening for you, not to you. Again, game changer. Just a simple thing like that. And then I was able to demonstrate with my daughter with a real cup, and she was all happy and she figured it out. So Beth, what did you discover? Where did you identify life happening for you, not to you?
Yeah, I think I need to think about that a little more. I have had that happen, and I've had feelings like, yeah, it was just meant to be that it worked out. But I don't know this week. I haven't been conscious to thinking about that specifically.
And it'll take time. It'll take time. I mean, there's going to be several different occurrences or occasions where sometimes you might even realize it before your head hits the pillow. And you're like, you know, that time that happened earlier today or even yesterday, like there was something great that came out of that.
I have one, Steve, that just happened today. It's a little different, kind of odd, but as I shared in the group before, I've given up pop completely. I haven't had any pop, or I don't know, maybe you're in soda wherever you are in the country, but since October 15th, I believe, was the last time I had any pop. But it's hard. I think I've shared before, when I go by McDonald's, I still want that root beer.
What was
I
the
just
date?
want a
What
sip.
was the last date you had soda?
Like October 15th. It was right before I started the sprint.
Okay.
And then, so today I have a couple of my employees were at the office, and they had messaged me and said, hey, you're coming in, right? I said, sure. And they said, could you pick us up lunch? And I said, sure. I'm fasting. It's a Friday during Lent, so I'm not going to have anything, but I'll be glad to pick you up something. What would you like? And they said, McDonald's. We'd like filet of fish and fries, and I don't know what their drinks were. And immediately I was like, oh no, like now I got to go through the drive-through. Am I going to be able to go through the drive-through and not get a root beer? And worse yet, am I going to get those fries? Like, it's one thing if you're driving by, it's another thing when you're in the drive-through and you're getting it from someone else. And then worse yet, I thought, am I going to open their bag and like just eat some of their fries, even if I don't get it? So the whole drive to McDonald's, I was like, I'm going to break this streak. I'm going to have this root beer. I don't know that I can go through the drive-through. And it was upsetting me, but I offered to pick it up for them. So I had to do it. And I got into the drive-through and I placed their order. And I said, you know what? I'm not. It's not worth disappointing myself today. But it was one of those like bad to good. I needed to go through that drive-through to see that I wouldn't get the root beer.
Yeah.
And that was the lesson there, that I doubted myself the whole hour it took to get to that point, until I pulled out of the drive-through. And then I thought, don't you open that bag. Don't open that bag. You don't need it. And I handed it off to them, and it was such relief. It was a valuable lesson that you can trust yourself. You went through the drive-through and you can trust yourself. So that was my kind of lesson learned today.
That is awesome. And you know what? Go ahead, Gail.
Well, it reminds me of your post, Steve, of being in your comfort zone. Like, you were totally out of your comfort zone doing that. But then when you got out of your comfort zone, you stepped into that and you were victorious. So
I bet that changed your identity of yourself, because that's what a healthy person does.
It
They
didn't
don't eat that crap.
it didn't change her identity. It reinforced her identity.
Mm.
It reinforced it, because now with the challenge and facing that circumstance, her internal subconscious was, I am not a soda drinker. Not anymore. I'm just not, I don't drink pop. It's like if you're at a party, or if you're at a bar or something, and you smoke and you offer two different people a cigarette. One person says, no, thank you, I'm trying to quit. Still polite. And then the other person's like, no, I'm not a smoker. The person that says, no, I'm not a smoker, they identify as not being a smoker. The one that says, no, I'm trying to quit, they still identify as a smoker, but they're fighting the urge not to smoke. So it just reinforces it. Jackie made the decision to change her identity on October 15th. She just made a decision and said, I am no longer a pop drinker. So Jackie had a lot of mixed emotions. She had some internal dialogue happening. But the fact that her consciousness had beaten the battle of the reptilian part of the brain, which is our habitual part of the brain, just reinforces the fact that Jackie is not a pop drinker. That's how it works. Awesome. And I think that's fantastic because a lot of us can fall into the playing the victim, not that we're the victim, but we could be playing the victim saying, well, why is this happening to me? I'm being challenged here. Why, But you just simply said, I think you didn't say it verbally, you didn't say it forthcoming, but your consciousness or your identity just said, go ahead, challenge me. Try to beat me. What is that, Dave? Is that a Star Wars image?
No, it's actually what would you call that?
I don't know.
It's like a wooden it's made out of wood, but it shows the depth of the ocean around the Cayman Islands.
Oh, geez.
Well, that's
Hey,
actually Grand Cayman right there.
Since Dave's off mute, can we talk for a second about his mad
Oh, dang it.
skills on videoing his breakfast scaling? I'm thinking we're going to recruit you for the Food Network.
Not at all. Yeah, I think who's that big Food Network lady? Rachel Ray.
Rachel
She
Ray.
can keep her job.
I saw that you
Definitely
posted a
not.
video, David. I haven't seen it yet, but I love the
Oh my God.
I was laughing out loud because I was at breakfast with my wife this morning. We don't get a chance to do that often, just the two of us. And I saw it as I was scrolling through when I got notified, and it said, I promise I'm not going to steal any of the audience from the Food Networks or the shows. I doubt this is going to take any audience away. I thought that was hilarious. I'm going to watch that.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I probably took me a half an hour to figure out how I was gonna do it and trying to have things set out in the right place and and it still was awful.
Awesome.
So,
At one point, I spit
Yeah.
out my drink when you had your phone and you said we're gonna get up close and personal. And you were trying to juggle everything. I spit out my drink. It was
Yeah.
so classic, but I'm so grateful because you showed exactly what I needed to see.
the
It
kiwi was
awesome.
like this far from the front of my phone at one point. So no cameraman. So
I gotta catch that.
I had to do
It's
that
the
myself.
best.
Hey, do you have a YouTube channel you can share that on?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
Not gonna do
Not
that.
gonna get one.
Yeah, that's your first video. It can
There'll
go
be
viral.
0 followers on that
It can
channel.
go viral. All right. So today's conversation, I felt brought a lot of impact and value, though it wasn't. I mean, I always try to keep a format, but today's conversation went the way that it was supposed to go. The universe had said, this is the way we need. Here's what we need to talk about. Here's what we have to get started. And let's hear some takeaways. What did you grasp from this? Because I know I've taken some notes already. What did you take away that was really impactful for you?
Okay, I'd like to say something
Joanna.
about that. So when we started, I don't know, it was Gail was talking about you being genuine to yourself, and that kind of prompted me to think about some things. And you're true to yourself. And one thing that I really love about the group is that you're teaching everyone to be true to themselves and to be the best version of themselves. And as a Christian, I believe that's, of course, God wants us to be the best version of who he created us to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so in keeping, our promises to ourselves and being true to who we are, we're being true to who he created us to be. And so that's very important to me. And I see that developing in each of us in this group. And that's a blessing to me. So I wanted to say.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That touches my heart. Really does.
Good.
Yeah, no, I am passionate. I'm passionate about you living in your best body and mind to the greatest of your potential. I mean, you've heard me say it's not my potential. I don't try to force things on you or instill things on you. I just want you to start uncovering what your potential is. And it's not happening at one time. This is a process.
Right.
We're going through this together. We're going to discover things at a different rate, different level, a different frequency. That's okay. And we have each other to reach out to if we have questions, concerns, or, hey, I really liked what you said on that conversation. Could you just elaborate? Because I feel like I think I'm feeling the same way. So I appreciate that. What else? What else are we taking away today?
Well, I guess I just said it all. Right?
Rosemary's been quiet. What did Rosemary got to say?
I've been listening to this whole conversation. To be honest with you, it really helped me today. I just got into a fight with my mom, and lately, I want to say in the last maybe 3 months, you've been talking about identity, and I mean, my mom and I, we always bump heads. And she is one of the person that she's going to criticize you in a bad way. And no, it doesn't matter what you do. It's always wrong. So today, today, right before the call, I came home and I asked her something, and the way she, she started talking and all of that. And then she asked me, and I never had the courage to tell her this, but espérame, preciosa, espérame. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back with my daughter. Right, when we started, she said why I was so upset, and I never had the courage to tell her before that it's because of the way you tell me things. Sometimes I just come to work, I come home, and I am like stressed out, and then I ask you something, and then you just say it right. And she didn't say anything. She just got quiet. So I gotta talk to her, a little bit more. But in the last 2 months, I came to realize that I'm just grateful to have her, that a lot of people doesn't have her moms next to them. And I am so blessed that she lives with me, that she helps me with the kids, and she's not the perfect person, and I am not either, but I'm more grateful now, and I can see that I'm not the same person as I used to be before. And I'm nobody to treat her bad in a bad way. That was my takeaway today.
That's outstanding. And it reminds me of what we're going to talk about Monday. Monday, we're going to talk about the patterns of focus and how we're literally going to start conditioning our thoughts and our emotions from learned helplessness to blissful dissatisfaction. Because we've talked about both now. We've understand both sides of learned helplessness, where other people, outside circumstances, such as Rosemary is saying about her mom, that doesn't control who Rosemary is. Rosemary's taken the question, which is one of the primary questions that we're going to talk about, which is, are you focused on what's missing in your life, or missing in your relationship, or missing in whatever component you're focused on? Or are you grateful for what's happening in your life? Just that shift takes you from a state, an emotion, from, frustration and stress and anxiety and fear and worry, and it just flips it. And now you're living in more happiness and joy and fulfillment and contribution and peace day by day. Rosemary, I know you shared that without thinking that was going to make an impact, but that makes a huge, significant thought for all of us. And my thoughts are with you that your mom understands you more consistently. Don't change who you are. Hold true to your standards.
Thank you. We'll do that. And this group has helped me, like I said, you have helped me a lot, because even my son now sees the difference. And sometimes, like she tells him a lot of stuff also. She's nagging all the time. And she's one of those nagging grandmas that I'm like, Mom, you're supposed to be a sweet grandma, not a nagging grandma. But, when he starts talking to her back or something like that, I'm stepping up now. I was not doing it before, but now I'm like, hey, no, respect your grandma. She might not be the sweetest grandma in the world, but she's still your grandma and she loves you. And, we're working on that. And thank you. I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you.
I don't know if you've taken this approach, Rosemary, but here's what I would do with my mom. I would just simply ask her, how can I help you?
I try to do that, but my mom doesn't take anything, like I said, from me, advices or anything. Like I can tell her something and you can come and tell her the same exact words that I just said. And she's not going to take my word. She's going to take your word, So I try that. My husband has tried to talk to her also, but like I say, she's very special. She's a very special woman.
I'll take your word for it. All right, you amazing promise keepers. I want you to go enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all what you're grateful for and the blissfulness that you have. And feel free to post in our group what you learned today. And I'll share the replay here in the group. And if you're ready to go take on the weekend and enjoy, say, let's go.
Let's
Let's
go.
go. Bedom.